A moment of silence.
北风卷地白草折，胡天八月即飞雪。忽如夜春风来，千树万树梨花开。散入珠帘湿罗幕，忽求不暖尽轻薄。将军角弓不得控，都护铁衣冷难折。瀚海阑干百丈冰，愁云惨淡万里凝。中军置酒饮归客，胡琴琵琶与羌笛。纷纷暮雪下辕门，风掣红旗冻不翻。轮台东门送君去，去时血满天山路。善回路转不见君，血上空留马行处。
What you just heard, well, that's the sound of a frontier in winter, a moment captured more than 1,200 years ago. It's a famous poem from the Tang Dynasty called A Song of White Snow. Now, together, we're going to walk through this poem to really understand how the poet found such breathtaking beauty and such deep feeling in one of the world's most difficult landscapes. We'll start with the sudden shock of the snow. Then we'll feel that biting cold. We'll witness a farewell right in the middle of a storm. And finally, we'll listen for the echoes of a friend who has just disappeared from sight.
Okay, so let's start. Our journey begins on the really harsh northwestern frontier of the Tang Empire. I mean, this was a place known for its brutal weather and constant conflict. It was a common subject for what's called frontier poetry. The poet Cen Shen doesn't ease us in at all. No, he throws us right into the middle of it.
So right here, the poet writes, 北风卷地白草折 Hu Tian Ba Yayu Ji Fei Sui. The opening is so abrupt, almost violent, you know? It's only the 8th month in the lunar calendar, which should be late summer, but under this northern sky, winter is already attacked with this shocking force. The wind doesn't just blow. The poem says it rolls across the land, literally snapping the dry grass. You get the sense this is not a gentle, pretty first snowfall. This is an invasion.
And then something incredible happens. In what has become one of the most famous couplets in all of Chinese literature, the poet just completely shifts our perspective. He writes, 忽如一夜春风来，千树万树梨花开. So the reality is a blizzard, right? A brutal force of nature. But in the poet's eye, it transforms. He imagines that a spring wind has swept through overnight, causing, as he says, 1,000 trees, 10,000 trees to just erupt in pear blossoms. It's this moment of pure magic. It's an act of finding something absolutely spectacular and beautiful in a totally hostile world. From that magnificent, huge, sweeping view of the landscape, the poem's focus now pulls inward. We move from what you can see to what you can feel. We're going to the intimate, personal reality of a cold that just seeps right into your bones.
In these lines, we see San Ru Ju Lian Shilo Mu, Hu Chu Bu Nuan Jin Kin Bog. You can just feel how relentless this cold is. It's invading the commander's tent, slipping past an elegant beaded curtain and dampening the silk screen. And notice the items he mentions: a fox fur robe, a brocade quilt. These are supposed to be objects of luxury and comfort, but against this frontier cold, they're useless. The cold makes the finest fur feel like it has no warmth, and the thickest quilt feel thin.
The severity of the cold here is just absolute. 将军角弓不得控，都护铁衣冷难着. It's a cold so intense that it freezes the very tools of war. I mean, the general's powerful bow is frozen stiff. It's impossible to draw. A commander's iron armor is so frigid you can't even put it on. It's like nature itself has completely disarmed the army.
And now we arrive at the poem's real heart. You see, this isn't just a description of a snowstorm. Its full title is actually A Song of White Snow to see off Judge Wu on his return to the capital. So it is, above everything else, a farewell poem. All of this incredible natural drama, it's all just the backdrop for a deeply human moment of friendship. Before we get to the farewell feast, we get one last look outside. 瀚海阑干百丈冰，愁云惨淡万里凝. This is just a scene of immense desolation. The vast desert sea is frozen solid, and these sorrowful clouds are just locked in place across the sky. It's an image of perfect, unending stillness and gloom, which, as you'll see, makes the warmth of the coming scene even more powerful.
中军置酒饮归客，呼琴琵琶与羌笛. Inside the main tent, a farewell banquet begins, and here, against that vast frozen silence outside, a little bubble of warmth is created. There's wine to see off the departing guest, and there's music from frontier instruments, the huqin, the pipa, and the cheng flute. This is the poem's central contrast. The entire world is frozen solid, but it's human connection that provides the heat.
Now, as they step outside to the camp gate, notice how this image unfolds. Fen Fen Mu Xue, Xia Yuan Men, Feng Changqing不犯. Snow is falling heavily at dusk. And the wind is pulling at the army's red flag, but the fabric is so frozen with ice that it can't even flap. It's such a striking symbol of this unyielding strength, just standing there brilliant and red against all that endless white.
And here it is, the actual moment of parting. Luntai dongmen songjun qiu. Qiu shi sueman tianshan lu. The poet and his friend are standing at the east gate, and as his friend leaves, the entire world ahead of him, the road through the great heavenly mountains, is completely covered in snow. What an image! It's a journey into this vast, beautiful, but also kind of intimidating unknown.
山挥路转不见君，雪上空留马行处. And the poem ends with this quiet, lingering gaze. The poet just watches until the winding path hides his friend from view. The sound, the music, the farewell, it's all over. And all that's left is the silence of the snow, marked only by the fading tracks of his friend's horse. It's an ending that's just filled with a deep sense of longing and that quiet ache of separation.
So, when we step back and look at the whole poem, what is its enduring power? Why do we still read it today? It's so much more than just a description of snow. It's really an exploration of the human heart, set against this epic, natural canvas. You know, the poem captures that sheer awe we feel when we're faced with the power of nature, but it also insists that the warmth of friendship is what allows us to endure it. It finds this surreal beauty in total desolation and gives a voice to that universal ache of saying goodbye. And ultimately, I think it celebrates the resilience of the human spirit, symbolized by that frozen red flag just refusing to fall in the storm. And so this poem, written about a soldier's farewell on a snowy frontier, centuries and centuries ago, it leaves us with a question that feels just as profound today. When we face our own vast, intimidating landscapes, when the world around us feels frozen and bleak, where do we find our warmth?